What's good? It's Woog. Well, 23-year-old Teofimo Lopez shook up the boxing world, didn't he? The newly crowned Undisputed Champion, unifying all four major belts, took on a generational elite in Vasyl Lomachenko and pretty much hushed the boxing community. Experts, analysts, former greats, nobody got this one right. And I almost feel like the date of this Loma versus Lopez fight, it was 10/17, should be designated Sports Media Shut the Fuck Up Day. Because it turned out that almost nobody knew what the hell they were talking about here, except for Teofimo Lopez, who also said that we would now be making excuses for Lomachenko after he beats him, which I'm also starting to see. He really shook up the boxing world, and this win reshuffles the deck in the lower divisions. I expect people to give stronger looks towards young fighters who might appear over their heads, such as Ryan Garcia versus veteran and former title contender Luke Campbell coming up. But boy, the boxing community, including myself, whiffed on this one badly. And I'm gonna need y'all's support watching this video on making October 17th Boxing Media or Sports Media Shut the Fuck Up Day. We can rephrase it if that doesn't work, but that's the phrase that keeps on running through my head when you consider the analysis leading up into this fight. Conventional wisdom said that Vasyl Lomachenko was much more likely to start racking up the rounds, and that Teofimo's biggest shot at a win here was catching Loma with something devastating, because Lopez's reputation is that of a fast, explosive knockout puncher. But almost nobody picked Lopez to win in the way that he won. A technical chess match to where Lomachenko was unable to land anything significant through the first half of the fight? Woo! Lopez, the bigger man, was able to jab effectively, to move around with Loma, and to beat him to the body when Loma did advance. This left almost no openings for Lomachenko to exploit through the first several rounds. I didn't expect Lomachenko to be forced into showing Lopez that much respect through the first half. Lopez looked sharp, he looked dangerous, he looked disciplined, he looked like the better boxer, not just puncher, but the better boxer in the ring. And we didn't see that coming. This, in my opinion, does lend credence to the belief that 135 lightweight is Lomachenko's ceiling. But there we go again, making excuses for Loma, just as Teo predicted, right? But body-wise, Loma didn't look as toned as he used to. Not that he looked out of shape, but he didn't have that same zero body fat look that he normally has. He moved well, but looked uncomfortable and tense in trying to crack Lopez's puzzle, whereas we thought Lopez would be the one frustrated in trying to crack Lomachenko's puzzle. Lopez just looked so damn big in there too. It reminded me of Adonis Stevenson fighting Tavoris Cloud, where the bigger fighter, Stevenson in that case, was able to defend well while keeping the smaller opponent at arm's length while landing hard jabs, doing the sophisticated feinting, and then throwing hard shots to the body where it looked like, well, what the hell is this other guy supposed to do to effectively close the distance on this guy? I also thought Lomachenko got hurt a couple times to the body early, and Lopez was throwing jabs and power shots with authority, leaving Lomachenko circling but unwilling to close the distance and let his hands go. It's like Loma thought he had to wait out this early storm from Lopez, and that it wouldn't be safe to enter until he sensed that there was either a vulnerability in Lopez's defense, or if Lopez's punches started to weaken over the course of the fight. Well, Lopez did start getting hit much more often during the second half, and I thought that his defense was on the verge of total collapse when Loma started putting his foot on the gas and started upping the volume. But even this appeared to be too little, too late, and in the final round, Lopez reestablished himself as a superior fighter, really putting some heavy combinations together on Lomachenko. That was pretty exhilarating and interesting. Lopez wanted to leave nothing to chance. He showed a champion spirit, as did Loma, but it appeared that Lopez was aware that he'd be best served by winning that 12th round, and he did so emphatically. Hats off to the new king of the lightweights. That was amazing, and it has truly stunned the boxing world. We didn't know what the hell we were talking about. Teofimo Lopez shut a lot of people up. Props to those who did pick Teo. Off the top, I know I'd heard Timothy Bradley and Luke Thomas of CBS Showtime's Morning Combat show. Luke Thomas didn't actually pick Teo, but he said, I don't know what the hell these other people are talking about, saying that he's in some ways green or ill-prepared or is lacking some of the tools necessary to hang with the Lomachenko. So you had a few who picked Teo or challenged the prevailing narrative that there was this tremendous skills gap that Teo would be unable to overcome. But nobody thought that Teo was going to be the superior round winner and be the person who's stacking up and banking the 10-9, 10-9, 10-9 rounds against one of the pound-for-pound best boxers we've seen in the past however long. If you know anybody else who did pick Teofimo Lopez, please mention them in the comments. By the way, that 119 to 109 scorecard from Julie Lederman was bogus. She gave Lopez each of the first 10 rounds. She had Lomachenko winning only the 11th round. That's crazy. But damn, there's a lot to unpack in this one. Where does Lomachenko go? I'm not expecting an immediate rematch. I don't know if he considers dropping back down to 130. Not that he hasn't had success at 135. He beat Linares, Crolla, Luke Campbell, but he wasn't the same dominant force that he was at 126 and 130. And there's clearly a ceiling to the type of 135 fighter that he can handle. But again, I don't want to say anything to take away from Teofimo Lopez and what he appears to be bringing to the table, because the idea that these other youngins are as good and as gifted as Lopez, show and prove. We'll see over time. Right now, I know that Teo's the one who took the huge gamble, the huge chance at 23 years old. 22 when he made the decision to fight Loma, but fought him at 23. It paid off big time. Whereas usually people in that stage of the career are still taking up-and-coming type fights to better groom them for the bigger opportunities down the line. So we'll see if this ends up being like a trendsetter to where some of these younger fighters end up biting off much more, much earlier. I don't know what type of ripple effect a fight in an event like this is going to have. Because again, usually you don't have somebody gamble this big. Well, somebody as highly touted as Teofimo Lopez take on the king that early. So there are a lot of young names with even less of a proven track record than what Teo had coming into this one. He'd at least knocked out Richard Comey to earn that legit title. The sample sizes from Devin Haney and Ryan Garcia are much smaller. At 130, Gervonta Tank Davis is about to fight Leo Santa Cruz. Gary Russell Jr. is still wasting his best years at 126, fighting only his WBC mandatories and not making any big fights. Shakur Stevenson is another super young and untested name. And this is only in the lower weight classes. Up at 147, you've got Virgil Ortiz Jr., who I think is as good a prospect as any of these guys. This is just a very exciting time in boxing, and Teofimo Lopez just turned boxing's established order up on its head. I didn't expect this. I did think that this was too much too soon. Not only is Lopez a tremendously talented athlete, his heart and mind are what he showed in this one. He carried his obvious confidence into the ring, and he shined on the biggest night of his career. I'm amazed. But let me know your thoughts on this fight. Who does Teo fight next, and will it even be at 135? Does he go up to 140 and try taking on a Josh Taylor or Jose Ramirez, depending on who wins that one? Do any of these other young prospects have a good shot at beating a Teofimo Lopez? Please leave your comments in the comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are into the fight talk. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.